Hi, good afternoon or good morning for our American friends. We are. I'm running. My name is David. I use he/him pronouns, and today I am running a game of Masks. Masks is probably needs no introduction, but is a PBTA game by Brendan Conway about playing teen and young adult superheroes. In our game today, I'm particularly interested in looking at kind of teen superheroes who still kind of have that one foot in their mundane life as well. So I'll go on to a full description of the game itself and what I'm looking sort of for, and have a bit of discussion on that in a moment. This game is being run as part of the Gauntlet, which is an online role-playing club. We arrange games like this one through sort of an online calendar. You can check that out via the website at gauntlet-rpg.com. I'll put a link to that down below, and you can find out more about what we do there, as well as our sort of game calendar and the like. We also have a series of podcasts and a monthly gaming zine called Codex. Well worth checking out all of those. I will ask my players to just introduce themselves briefly, and then I'll get into sort of discussing what we're up to today. I will go through in. So we've already got our characters down there. I'll just go through in order of our character keeper. Oops, that's the wrong one. Tab. Greg, would you like to introduce yourself first?
Yeah, certainly. I'm Greg. Really got nothing to promote or anything, so excited to be here.
Excellent. Yeah, no, looking forward to playing with you again, I should say. Rich, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hey, I'm Rich, happy member of the Gauntlet for a while now. I like masks. I have a podcast called Plus One Forward. It's about PBTA games. There's even a masks episode.
Yeah, well worth checking that out. Last but not least, Pavel, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Pavel, and I'd like to play games. I use he/him pronoun, if I haven't said it. Greg, one question. Are you sure you're using the mic from your headphones? Because it sounds like you're using some kind of the general mic that collects a lot of sound.
That's true.
Thank you. Yeah,
it might be your webcam mic. Yeah, good call, Pavel. Thank you.
Thank you. Is that fixed or no? Okay, I'm going to get back in. I'm going to get out and get back in. I guess that's okay, right? That's not going to screw up anything.
That should be fine, yeah.
Okay, we'll do.
Just David, keep an eye on the waiting room.
Yes.
Maybe that's just how his mic works, but it does sound like it is collecting much more sound because there's like an echo. So that's why.
You're right. I think that's absolutely. That's what it sounded like to me, Pavel. I'm glad you said something.
I sometimes send our sessions to friends, and they sometimes complain about the audio quality. So I'm trying to help it out that our games can be actually listened by people, because I know myself, if the audio of the game is bad, I just can't listen to it. It just like.
All right.
I think we've lost you there.
Yeah. I can hear Greg. No. Nope. Cannot hear you.
Sorting out technical problems is always a fun part of these games. I used to have real issues with the mic I had before. It was just like it was very like sometimes I literally had times where I'd like log into one session for a game, like sort of like a Gauntlet. I'd log into one session for a game, it would work fine. You know, I'd take like an hour break, whatever, go to another one that just wouldn't pick it up, and I'd have to restart my computer. It's like I don't know.
Yeah, technical problems.
Touchwood, this one it seems a lot better. No, still getting nothing from you. You haven't got like a high hardware mute on your microphone that's engaged, do you?
Yeah, that's also an option. Maybe you could have like a mute on the headset or something.
Yeah, got you. I think.
Wait.
Hello?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now it
That was the yeah. I must have hit mute the last time I used these.
Yeah.
God.
No worries.
All right, sorry about that.
No,
Sound way better. Thanks, Pavel, for saying something. That's definite improvement.
Perfect. Awesome. So yeah, as I said, I'm just going to quickly rattle through the cats for this game. So cats is a tool we often use here on the Gauntlet. Just stands for concept, aim, tone, subject matter, and it is essentially a way of just getting us all on the same page about what to expect from the game, what's likely to come up, and provides a sort of basis for like when we talk about using our safety tools and stuff like that, what we want to avoid and bits and pieces like that. So as I mentioned, this is a game of young superheroes at that sort of like teen to young adult bracket thing. So think things like Teen Titans and the Runaways, perhaps, so various different ones like that. I will freely admit I'm not the biggest comics devotee, so my knowledge isn't encyclopedic, but I've certainly read a few. So in specific, what that means in terms of our game is, as well as the usual sort of superhero type stuff you might expect, you know, going up against bad guys, saving people from, flaming buildings, all that sort of thing. It also has some themes of like intergenerational conflict and coming of age, and the mechanics very much sort of play into that as well. What I want to look at in this game with the sort of specific framing I want to go for is looking at the idea of sort of people who have like the superhero personas, but also still live lives as normal teens as well. So yeah, more, not quite as much like the say like the Teen Titans, where they are a bunch of very distinct individuals who kind of live in their own little world. At least certainly from the bits and pieces I've seen. It's much more about like kids who are still able to kind of pass as normal and live a regular life, but do the bit of superheroics on the side. One of the big things for this is me is like I've always liked that kind of like secret identity side of superheroics, and I think it can often get a bit lost in the sort of more like out there games where there is sort of no hope for normality amongst them. So that's what part of why I'm interested in looking at this. This game is also taking place as part of the Gauntlet Comics shared universe, which is a series of different GMs running games that have a kind of shared touchstone universe. We have a wiki for that. I don't think I actually put a link to that in the Character Keeper, but I will put one in there. What we can do as well is use that to set up pages for your own characters. Can set up one for the team and any other sort of important NPCs that we want to bring in as we go. Feel free to check through that as well if you want to look at up other heroes, villains, and other NPCs that you want to kind of draw into your backstory. As we look through that, I will actually just paste a link into the chat now so that you've got that to hand. If you want to take a look through it, it's not mandatory, but you know, if you do want to sort of bring in any existing characters, that's cool. Perfect. So so the aim of the game is basically to just play out your characters, explore how they grow into heroes, how their relationships with each other and the world around them changes, and obviously, you know, stand up for what they believe in and help protect people, help start to become heroes. The tone of this game, I've mentioned previously, there's sort of these 4 core truths about your team that I've mentioned in the Masks playbook. How much we'll play into all of them, you know, might be a bit flavor to taste, but it's when we're talking about your entity as a team, you're all chosen to be here to some extent. This isn't something people have been forced into. You aren't killers. This isn't really a game. This is a game about, obviously, we'll get into this a bit more when we get into our subject matter and our discussions on lines and veils and stuff. Obviously, this is going to be a sort of high-powered superhero game of, like, you know, punching people through buildings and the like, potentially. But this isn't a game about, you know, wanton murder and killing. So that's kind of quite a key cornerstone to all of this. Currently, you or your team is not illegal or openly hunted. There's no, you know, Mutant Registration Act or anything like that going on. You know, you are able to live your lives out. Obviously, that may change if you get caught up in some you know, superhero shenanigans. But currently, you're not inherently being hunted. And you aren't beloved. This is to say that you are not yet a big feature of the cities, like superhero. What's the word? Pantheon, I suppose. You're not yet the big names. People are only starting to forge opinions about you and don't universally love you yet. That may change, of course, but that's sort of you're still very much at the outset of the superhero journey. So in terms of tone, I'm going to be trying to stick mostly to a fairly, you know, I know that saying comic book tone is perhaps not the easiest thing, because there is a wide variety of different tones across them in and of themselves. But what I'm thinking is fairly like 4-color, you know, heroics means heroics, not too grim and gritty. I see this as maybe being a fairly locally focused game, but not necessarily a kind of street level game in the sort of comic sense of it. I can see, you know, powers and goings on being a bit more high level than that. We can obviously play about with that as we see fit. There'll also be a bit of things like teen melodrama creeping in as well, things like Riverdale, Sabrina, all those sorts of you know, TV series, as your personal lives get complicated, as will inevitably happen. So in terms of subject matter, there'll obviously be like superhero combat, or almost certainly. I mean, you can, if you wish, try for a sort of pacifist approach, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I'm working on the assumption that we will get into some fights, but we won't really be, I don't really want us to be kind of going into like gratuitous descriptions of like graphic violence and injury. Death will be extremely rare and treated seriously rather than just a sort of throwaway thing. Romance is definitely on the cards, though we won't be going into any sort of explicit sexual content, both because it's generally not appropriate for most games at all, and also because we'll be dealing with slightly younger protagonists here. Things like abuse of power, bullying, and controlling behaviours by adults likely to come up to at least some extent, as it's kind of built into the way that people's social influence works out through the game. We, depending on what like powers either you or potentially enemies come up, we may touch on some things like mind control that some people might have sensitivities around. So if you do have any of those, we'll have a quick discussion in a moment about our use of lines of veils. So yeah, as I say, we'll be using some safety tools. Namely, we will be using the X card. This can be used to basically stop the action if there's some content that comes up you're not happy with. We'll remove or work around that content and carry on playing. And once we've kind of managed to resolve that, if you do call the X card, I might need to ask you exactly what it is in the scene that you're X-carding, if it's not like immediately obvious. I won't ask you to justify why you are, though. If there's a thing you're not happy with in the scene, we can just take that out. That's fine. You don't need to justify why. That can be because it's like sensitive content you're not happy playing with. It might be tonal as well. If you just think that like you know something feels a bit like, you know, if we've kind of got so far been playing with a kind of relatively, I don't want to say serious, but you know, a fairly like grim thing, and I bring in, you know, an NPC who's a sort of a clown magician or something, and you say, actually no, this is kind of not what I'm seeing. That you can X card that sort of thing as well. We'll also be using the script change tool. This is a slightly more nuanced tool than the X card. It's used in a similar sort of way. Basically, gives you a number of sort of controls that are based on a video VCR controller that you can call out, so that we have pause. Just in my mind, probably the most useful of them all. Pause can be called out if you want to just stop the action for a moment. That can be for any number of reasons. That could be because you're in a scene and you've just heard the front door go and you've got to go down and answer it. It could be because you know, a scene's getting quite intense and you just need like 5 seconds to just catch your breath before carrying on. Or it might be that there's something you want to have a quick chat about out of character whilst the scene's going on. You might be like, you say, I'm not sure I'm happy for the scene to go this way. Could we maybe try and steer it towards a different direction, something like that. Any of those is a perfectly good use for pause. We have fast forward, which can be used to skip over content. If this can be used a bit like a veil, which we'll get into a second. So if you want to say, actually, no, I don't want to see a big, you know, I'm happy that like, I get beaten up here, but I don't want like a kind of blow by blow discussion of that. Can we just move on to after it's happened? Or it might be just because the scene's kind of carrying on a bit too long and kind of circling around, and we just want to get to the point where that scene is resolved. Anything like that is good for fast forward. Rewind can be used to kind of backtrack over something that's just happened and maybe change it slightly. It might be you after you've said something, you think, oh, actually, I've thought of a better way of phrasing that. I'll rewind and just, this is what I actually say. Or again, it might be you think, actually, I'm not sure I'm happy with the scene going out this way. Can we change it to go down a different route? That's perfectly fine. There's a couple of others. I've linked the document to this in our shared folder if people want to read over it. I think tend to come up slightly less often. They frame by frame, which just lets us go over a scene more slowly if we want to take care with it. Instant replay, which lets us kind of just do a quick recap on the scene, or maybe say, hey, I really liked what you did just there. And resume, which is just a kind of like, we're going back into things. But as I say, the latter three I don't think are quite as useful as the first. So, but yeah, do feel free to read over that document if you'd like. As I said, we have the open door policy in place as well, which is to say, if you need to leave at any point, whether that be to take a quick break or like to leave the session for the rest of the session, you can leave at any time. You don't have to explain why you're leaving. Though if it, you know, it's useful obviously if you can let me know, if just through a private message, if you aren't going to be coming back, or if you're going to be like 10 minutes or whatever, just so that I can work around that. But like I said, don't feel bound that you have to do that. If you need to leave, you need to leave, and that's fine. And yeah, as we will also be using our lines and veils, which are essentially lines are things that we will not feature in the game at all. It's content that we're not happy with featuring in the game at all. Veils are things where that we're kind of broadly happy for that sort of stuff to happen. We just don't want to see any sort of detail on it. We want to just we'll just like fade to black when that happens, or just describe it in a very like and then this thing happens, that sort of thing. So I'm going to pause our recording now while we have a discussion on what lines and veils we want to include in the game. Cool. So yeah, we have gone through our lines and veils now. I will now ask our players to introduce their characters. And once the characters are introduced, we will start going through and exploring a bit of your backstory elements, and then we'll go through and start building out your relationships between your characters. I know. I'll get into that in more detail when we get onto the relationships themselves. But yeah, so first, I think I'll go back through in character keeper order again. Greg, if you'd like to introduce your character that you'll be playing today.
You are muted.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll be playing Sheila O'Brien, she, her, and her code name is Buggane. Buggane is some sort of Irish or English monster, kind of troll that haunted that area. And so, yeah, she's a woman, Irish, tall and gangly, guarded, quick to anger, gets her clothing from Goodwill, but stylish enough. So kind of tough look kind of thing. And yeah, she's the bull. And let's see, a little bit on her backstory is, let me go down there. She's from a magical bloodline, but, you know, mysterious. She doesn't know much about it. She's hiding from powerful demonic forces back in Ireland. Basically, she lives with her uncle who works in IT in the US. They moved here. And why does she try to be a hero? Her uncle says her parents fought the forces of evil. It's in her bloodline. And so she's working with that. And so yeah, basically she's the bull, but when she fights, when she gets into a fight, her features change. And so she changes to more of a monster-like thing. As you can see the picture, right, we'll say like her hair becomes like twig-like. Maybe she gains some fur and spots. Her face becomes more demonic. And so that's kind of, as you know, the more she uses her powers, the more she changes. So not like a werewolf where you change to get the powers, but more of like the more she uses them, they're reflecting her internal state. I think that's it.
Awesome, yeah, that sounds great. Thank you very much. So yeah, Rich, if you'd like to introduce your character.
Cool. I am playing a character who's currently using the heroic name of Knockback because all the really good names are taken. So he is Janus, and his mask that he wears is kind of it's a featureless mask. It hides his face, everything except for his hair. His dad is what folks might call a supervillain, except he's not the mastermind kind of supervillain. He's a linebacker bad guy. Like, he would be a henchman, except his superpowers, he really should strive harder, but he never has. His dad is the biggest reason why he became a hero, because he found out that his dad had joined this new like crew of villains and thugs, and he decided he had to stop them from like robbing this. Let's see, I'm trying to make sure I'm looking at my they were trying to steal a whole train car, and this was Knockback's first heroic attempt. It didn't go terribly well, except that he made a big mess and the police showed up because of that. So it foiled them. And his dad, who calls himself Superia, is aware of this knockback and probably doesn't have the most positive feelings about him. Knockback has a best friend. Their name is Xiaojung. They are Taiwanese American, and Xiaojung knows about Knockback's secret identity as a fellow high school student. Also, Knockback's day-to-day, he has a job at a pizza delivery place, and he's also a member of the baseball team, the high school baseball team. So he has some obligations. And also his best friend, Jiajung, wants him to do normal day-to-day kid stuff and will call him out if he ignores them too long. I think that's it. I'm still working on like the secret identity name of Knockback. I have ideas, but I'll have it in just a few moments.
Yeah, no worries, that's fine. Thank you very much. Pavel, if you'd like to introduce your character.
So I'll be playing Nova. His name, my character pronoun are he, him. Samuel Dekker, aka Nightbolt. He is from Jamaica, and the first time he manifested his power was when he was smoking pot in the kitchen with his friend Bronco, and the lighter wasn't working, and he thought about lighting it, and then the entire kitchen was on fire. So accidents happen. So Bronco was also the first person accidentally hurt by Nightbolt. And then his parents, after the house burned down, decided to move to the Gauntlet City to get some help, some treatment, some explanations for Samuel powers, and we are trying to. The parents are trying to keep it on the DL. So Samuel goes to the normal school and not to some superpowers high school. He has short hair, but he already tries to make the dreaded hair. He has normal skin. He has this Rastafarian clothing, big baggy clothes. He likes to listen to reggae, and he has the drums. He plays them. He don't have a costume, because the moment he powers up, his Nova powers, he like changes, and I envision that he's kind of like a mix of the Fantastic Four, whichever element, because his ability is the elemental control. So whichever element he's channeling, he's using, he would change his appearance so that he's a man on fire, or a man of rock, or just a gust of wind. And so he doesn't really wears a costume for that regards, because that's how he looks when he's using his powers. So the images are
No, that's perfect. Thank you.
To go for the other backgrounds. Who acts out of team is helping me to control the powers. I found this character of Red Exorcist on the wiki, and it says that she's a superhero and she goes through schools giving talks about safety. And I think Samuel told her about his powers. He asked her to keep him to keep it on a don't tell anyone, and they are meeting for like a. She isn't a psychologist, but they are meeting and talking about controlling power, not overusing it, and other topics of safety.
Yeah, that's cool.
Questions, because I have the answers. I don't have the questions.
Yes.
Why do I continue to use my powers? Because Nightbolt wants to help people, and come on, they are awesome. You can turn into I'm in the fire, and I'm in a rock. And he can actually help people. So why not keep using this gift? And the last one was, why do I care about the team? It's hard to say because we haven't yet met, but I think Nightbolt likes the other because we are like, I think we are probably the only one in the school that or are from this area, from this neighborhood. So we hang out together. We probably fought some crime together. And yeah, Samuel knows that when he sometimes goes over the board, he needs someone else to cool him off, to cool him down, because his powers are dangerous.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. Thank you. So yeah, I also should like the premise I had envisaged was that you have all perhaps been doing some bits of crime fighting and superheroics up until this point, or up until a few weeks ago. But yeah, so we'll in a moment we'll do the kind of what happened when your team first came together. And sort of the idea that I had with that was essentially, obviously that was your first like crossover comic. That was the time when you all when you did all come together to engage with a threat, and we'll learn a bit more about that in a moment. And that was sort of like over the school holidays. This is as we're sort of coming on this series. This will be as you've just started back at school for the new term after the summer holidays. So by this point, you will all have encountered each other in like your superheroic guises. You may also already know each other at school in your mundane guises, and then obviously I'll leave whether you know which is which, up to you to decide between you. I know that's obviously of most relevance to Knockback as the Janus, but for the other two of you as well, feel free to be as open with the other, certainly with the other characters about your both halves of your identity, as it were, as you wish. You can be completely open with them, or you can be hiding it. The one thing I sort of want to kind of keep in, at least at the outset of the series, is that probably people in school in general probably aren't aware of your superpowers and the like at the moment. They may be aware of the exploits that you have got up to as heroes, but not that individual relationship yet. Cool. So yeah, I think we will we'll go through and
So I have an interesting question.
No, go for it.
Because I assume we don't know Knockback human identity, but the question is whether Samuel and Sheila know about each other human normal identities. What do you think?
Yeah, I can go either way. I figured that would come out from the fiction, but yeah, I have no preference either way.
Okay, so do you want to like leave it to the fiction? Do you want to start us not knowing each other in the school, or knowing that you are Buggane?
I think it'd be fun if some people had like I plan on having classes with Sheila and Samuel as my super secret identity. Like I think that's a fun thing.
Yeah, of course. But what I'm referring to is that we probably don't know your real name because that's a big part of Janus. But the question is, I would be, for example, interested in maybe knowing that Sheila is Buggane.
Yeah, let's do it. And
then Sheila would know that Nightbolt is Samuel. So and we'll see. It will be interesting because we don't know who the Knockback is in the school. So that is also so interesting.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I like that. That's cool.
Cool. So yeah, with that we will we'll probably learn a little more about this now, as I think we will go through and do our relationships with each other. So each of you should have 2, 3. I forget a couple of relationship questions to ask about other characters. What we'll do is I'll go back in character keeper order again. In fact, what I'll probably do is go in character keeper order and then go back the other way, if you want to link those in with each other. what I will say is because we are going to have, I think we are going to have another couple of characters potentially dropping in subsequent sessions. So if you don't feel like one of those relationship questions that you've got speaks to you for one of the characters we've got here now, then feel free to leave that as an open space that we can slot people into later. As we learn as they come into the game, we learn more about them. These relationships don't have any particular effect, but they might give you an indication of how you want to apply your influence when you get around to it. I will. I will start with Buggane. If you would like to ask one of your relationship questions to another player.
Okay, well, I guess I have two. Blank is your love. You've opened up to them about the worst parts of your past. And blank is your rival. They tend to control you at a crucial moment. I was thinking I was going to make Knockback my rival. Partly because I don't like not knowing who he is. Right.
So can I point out a thing from Lines and Veils that I noticed?
Yeah, certainly.
So Pavel is not interested in romance with PCs. So
yes,
by making
that.
Okay. Just want to make sure that you realize that you're kind of closing off some of those options.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of up to her a couple things. Yeah, because we only have two, and her stuff is so hot and cold. Basically, I was going to leave the love one open, or could that be to a PC or something, or not? I mean, an NPC.
I'm open in playing a relationship that is not mutual. So, for example, you might be you might be thinking you are. Nightbolt is your love interest, but Nightbolt is constantly giving you a cold shoulder and seems completely not interested. So
yeah,
that could be interesting.
Yeah, if it's okay, I think I'd rather have that is your love relationship probably with an NPC or another PC.
Yeah, sure.
I'd recommend
just because I thought it could cloud how Buggane and Nightbolt interact. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I wouldn't want to.
No, that's cool. That's fine. We can save that. It's also obviously with the bull, you do have moves that let you you can change that on the fly, as it were. Anyway, once we're in play. So if you want to. If you do want to leave that blank for now, that's okay. Or I mean, if you just want to make it it can be obviously always can be a platonic sense of love as well. If you just want it to be, that camaraderie with Nightbolt, that's fine as well.
I think I want
play
to
it
leave
out how
that
you want.
love open,
Sure,
but just I like
sure.
the more camaraderie with Nightbolt kind of thing.
Yeah, no worries. Cool. Thank you. So Knockback. Would you like to set up one of your relationships?
You bet. Blank knew you from your civilian life first, or you refused to tell blank your secret identity when they asked. I think I refused to tell Buggane my secret identity when they asked, because I think he's nervous around her, so he didn't want to kind of give away that it's a bit of weakness. So I refused to tell Buggane my secret identity.
That sounds good.
Does that seem like Greg's would Buggane have said, so who are you anyway? Because if not, then that does. Okay.
No, I think that the tension is around the secret identity. Like we fought together. Hey, why can't you tell me? Hey, I'm a little. You know what I mean? I like the crossed, bad connection kind of aspect of that.
Cool. I like it too. Awesome.
Perfect. Thank you. And Nightbolt, would you like to choose one of your relationship? Or in fact, if you want to do both of yours now, we'll go back the other way. Although, as I said, if you want to leave one blank for now, that's also cool.
Okay, so my first one is you hang out all the time with blank to blow off some steam. And I was thinking that I'm hanging out with Buggane all the time to blow off some steam because she's the only superhero that I know and I can hang out with. I was thinking what to give this +1 for the stats, and I thought about giving to Superia because even though Nightbolt knows he shouldn't, he feels superior to the normal humans, not superpowered. So, Buggane is the only one he can hang out with.
Yeah,
so there's this like slight superiority issue. We'll see where it goes. Oh, of course, to other humans. And to my second relationship is I once hurt blank when I lost control of my powers, and I know that Knockback has energy absorption, so probably I would like this relationship to be with Knockback because we are the core of the team for these 4 sessions, and I don't think Nightbolt could have hurt you physically, but I was thinking maybe it was like something he said, like an emotional hurt, like, Ooh. Come on, do something, fire up, stop these bandits, it was like he said something to you like that you should perform better because you are not doing good enough.
Nice.
Do you feel it? Do you think it would work?
Yeah, I think that would work. I think any accusation of Knockback, like not wanting to take down bad guys, would hurt his feelings because like he's really trying to make up for his embarrassment about his own father. So that would really bother him.
Awesome.
Nice. Thank you. Knockback, do you want to do your other relationship now, or do you want to keep that one in the pocket?
I think I'll keep it in the pocket because it's not necessarily like meaningful. We're all going to high school, so
exactly. Yeah, no, that's fair.
So I'll just save it so that I've got something for whoever we bring in new.
Yeah, no, that's cool. No, thank you. And yeah, obviously, Buggane, we know you're saving your other one for now as well, so that is fine. So
I wanted to ask.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Because we are having this dual personality between how do you say it, Richard? Pryor Perez.
Pryor Perez. So
I
was going for alliteration and also thought that having double P's for the Janus, which is basically a Spider-Man analog, would be amusing, but it's maybe too many layers of rich things.
Pryor Perez. So I wanted to ask what I want to post you to give me the answer and decide. What do you think, Samuel? Why do you think Samuel likes or dislike Pryor? When it comes to the school and class, like, are you like so good student that he doesn't like you because you are studying too hard, or does he like you because something else? What do you think is the relationship there?
Oh, that's super interesting. So I think, other than the fact that he plays baseball, Pryor goes out of his way to seem super anonymous. He doesn't volunteer for any visible clubs. He's got it in his head that in order to protect his secret identity, he must be as boring as possible. So he can't help but play baseball just because he loves it so much. He has weird feelings because his dad's proud of that, but like, so maybe you hate him because he just gives the most boring answers to everything, and he just avoids doing anything social with people other than hang out with his best friend, Sheila. Maybe,
okay.
or maybe, and this is just an alternate, just like throwing it out there. maybe he used to be friends with Bronco and they had a falling out at some point. And it's that like you're buddies with Bronco and Bronco's angry at Pryor, so you're angry at Pryor. So just kind of remembering in high school how, you know, you were, at least where I grew up, like it's someone who was the enemy of your friend was your enemy as well.
Awesome. So I think I will take both. I think that Pryor is like is completely boring and he even hurt my friend. So oh my god, it's going to be interesting.
Awesome. That sounds cool. So yeah, I think we'll take a quick break here. So we'll come back at 22, and then we'll go through the when your team first came together, and we'll then start detailing out a little bit more about your neighborhood and all that stuff and the school itself. So yeah, I'll see you all back in just over 5 minutes. So yeah, welcome back, and we will. The next thing we will do is, I think actually I'm going to go into the into our neighborhood setup first, because I think that will give us a bit more context for doing like the when the team first came together section of it. So we'll have a bit more of an idea of like what you're like and who matters and that sort of thing in your neighborhood. So yeah, we're going to go through. Oh, sorry. What I do need to do for this is to just quickly set up. Apologies, bear with me. I'm just going to set up a quick Google Drawings for us. I'll put a link to that in the chat. Cool. So the way we're going to do is, as I said, I'm going to use the neighborhood setup sort of process from Hit the Streets. So this is a fairly sort of light touch, but I've done this with Rich before, and I really liked sort of the what we got out of it. So we'll do this.
First, I'm sorry, but do you want us to have edit access, because I can only have view only?
All right, it said it should be edit access in the. Oh no, yeah, sorry, I see. It's just it does that thing where it just defaults it to what's normal for the folder rather than the. Okay, that should be. You should have edit access now. You may need to refresh the. Cool. Yeah, so I'm just going to quickly as well get up the new Gauntlet City map. Again, I'll put a link to this in the chat. So
it's looking like it's still view only for me. I'm
weird.
sorry.
No, it's fine. I'll just.
I did a refresh.
I'll actually paste the link in again, because sometimes it's. Oh no! It seems like it didn't save me putting it as editor. Okay, now that should be. But I will also just copy the link as well to make sure that it's linking to the right place as well.
Okay,
that worked. That worked.
Cool. Yeah, no, it apparently didn't save it last time I did that. So there we go. So yeah, if we have a quick look at the city map there, I was thinking maybe somewhere up in that like 73, 74, 75 area, somewhere that's like a bit a bit towards the outskirts of the city, where it's sort of starting to merge into sort of like suburbs, and so you've got that kind of mix of, you still have some of the sort of like more like, you know, so I'm definitely imagining like New York style sort of apartment buildings, but you're actually also sort of starting to get into the place where some people actually have like actual houses and stuff as well.
I need some background. Is Gauntlet City completely on the land? Is it on the shore? Are there some parts of the city on the shore? Is it like a Manhattan Island?
So New Gauntlet City is located in the United States Midwest, just for temperate. If you look at North Riverfront, near North Riverfront, there's a river that runs to the east of it, and it's a landlocked city. So other than the river, it's not near an ocean.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Is this based on St. Louis?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I'm from St.
You were
Louis.
the first person to pick it up. So
yeah,
well, you're from St. Louis.
Because I saw Central West End and like Forest Park. I'm like, wait a second.
I stole a few of the neighborhood names. I scooped out all the other neighborhood names and just dropped numbers in, and we've devved from that for the last year. But yeah, it's totally St. Louis. It was the coolest looking map that I could find of a Midwest city that was kind of a mid-sized Midwest city. That's cool.
Anyway,
That's
never
cool
heard coolest anything about St. Louis, but yeah, we'll go with it.
Well, I mean, it has everything. It has parks, it has river. It's got all that I wanted out of a Midwest city. So.
Yeah. That's awesome, though. I like it.
I hope there's not too much dissonance when we're imagining superheroes flying over St. Louis.
Right. No, I like it. Well, and the St. Louis city is very interesting. I mean, it's a city that's not on the upswing, but it has like a big glorious past kind of thing. So
I especially liked how much there's like, there are neighborhoods that look very like near the center, like these were planned, and then everything gets all stretched out as the city grew, and it just looks more ramshackle and crazy, and I thought that was really fascinating.
Yeah, no, it's nice. It certainly it's looking at like the district map, it feels a lot closer to what I'm used to in a city map than a sort of grid style layout. It's cool. So yeah, do you have a preference for any of those? Like I said, I was thinking up in that like north cluster there.
I think that's a great idea. I like 73 and 74 a good bit. Like, we're not near the river kind of deal, because I think Riverside has cool views, and that's maybe the more expensive stuff. And I think 75 is just a weird ass.
Yeah.
Like, look at that thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, because that was definitely the sort of, and obviously we'll detail all this out in a moment. But I definitely had in mind that sort of place where it's like, yeah, it's not yet fashionable enough to have really got in like the gentrification and that sort of thing. But it's also like never really. It's always been a sort of fairly mundane part of the city. It's never sort of fallen to like being like the epicenter of gang wars and that sort of thing either. That's sort of much more on a kind of even keel was the sort of area I had in mind, certainly. But yeah, cool. So if I'm gonna go ahead and say 74, I think I like the look of. So can I zoom a little? I'm going to very vaguely approximate the outline of that district on our map, to the extent I am capable.
Oh my God, I am so holding back wanting to explain why everything is the way it is in St. Louis. If you really care, I can let you know. But
I'm very curious. At some point, Greg, we will need to have a Zoom call and talk about St. Louis. That would be fun.
Cool, awesome.
I don't know if I'd use any of it in our made-up, Supers games, but it's still. I've spent enough time looking at these neighborhoods to say, like, oh, that's fascinating.
Totally, cool. Yeah. No, I totally get that. Oh, and please we can get back to the game once it's awesome. So St. Louis, the big question in St. Louis is, where did you go to high school? Because that kind of tells you what kind of, where you're from, right? Are you from money? Are you not from money? Are you old school? Are you new? And I think a lot of people in St. Louis stay in St. Louis. And so a while ago, somebody did this big chart and there's a lot of Catholic high schools. There's like strong Catholic presence. And so it's funny, there's this high school chart was like, basically it asks all these questions about you, and then it will tell you where you went to high school. And, it's pretty funny, right? If you know St. Louis. But the first question is, are you Catholic? Did you go to a public school or did you go to one of the Catholic schools?
So I'm going to start us off. The way we'll be doing this, so just to explain, whilst I'm terrible at multitasking, especially when I'm trying to draw things which I'm already bad at. But the way this goes, I will start off with our first street in this district, and I am going to go with the originally titled Park Lane, which is down on the park side of the area. We'll also at some point we'll want an area for the neighborhood itself. If someone comes up with a cool idea, like at any point, that's cool. Otherwise, we'll kind of check in at the end once we've kind of got a vibe for the place and see if we can come up with a name based on that. So yeah, I have set up Park Lane as our first street. So basically, on the first thing that we'll do is, again, I'll probably just keep sticking to character keeper order in this. I may reverse it occasionally just to throw people for a loop. But the first thing that everyone will do is to add a new street onto this map. It has to touch one of the existing streets. That's basically the rule. But other than that, you feel free to draw as you see fit. Just put a line on there, give it a name. And then once we've got those streets set up, you'll all determine whereabouts you live, and just make a little mark on there where your name is. But we'll just do the streets first. So yeah. Buggane, if you'd like to add a street to the map first.
All right. This is gonna be okay. Whoops.
Close enough.
Thank you. This is. Let's see. Let me do text. This is. So basically, this is a street that follows. There's kind of like a small creek or something. Maybe the creek's not even there anymore, but that's why it's kind of windy. This was an older street before it became more urban.
Yeah, and I like that because in fact, actually, I literally have one. I mean, you can't see, but if in the direction I'm pointing, I've got a little there's an old river there. It's one that used to be a working river, so it's paved in a lot, but it's been partially culverted, so some of the streets run over it, and then in other places, like just over the road from me, it's open to the air. So yeah, I can definitely imagine something like that, and probably flows down into like a big pond down in the park. Cool. Yeah, no, I like it. Also, I have updated Park Lane to Park Avenue because I think it makes a bit more sense with a slightly bigger, more important road. So, yeah, cool. Thank you. Knockback, if you would like to add another street to our map.
Cool. And is this a street that our characters live on, or is it just a street we're adding?
This is, for the moment, this is just a street that you're adding, and then we'll go back around to fill in where people live on this map.
Cool. Okay. I think there's a there's a section, there's a road that just kind of make it a little bit bigger. It's a road that bisects Park Ave and is audacious enough to be called Central, even though it's not exactly in the center of the neighborhood. But this is the area where maybe the police department might be.
Yeah.
So, yeah. This is kind of the municipal Ave for this particular neighborhood.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Nightbolt, if you would like to add another street onto this map.
So we had the Park Avenue, which was the main street. We have some Central, which is not really a central, but like a big street. And then what was the Sand at Creek Road? What was the climate of it? The theme? Greg, what was the theme of your street that you added?
Oh, sorry. So yeah, it was just it's like an older street that's all squiggly because it kind of followed a creek. So I would say it's nothing in particular. We'll say maybe most. I hadn't thought about what it was. I just thought of kind of more of that it was a weirdo street as opposed to planned.
I kind of get the feeling it might be sort of a lot of like residential and probably older residential housing along there, maybe that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's actually what I was kind of picturing. So yeah, residential.
I'm so bad at drawing. Okay. Now. Okay, slightly too large. Too large. Oh yeah, that might be good. So but do I have a name for it? It's slightly too close. Yeah, let's move it over here. What I'm thinking is the really big 2-lane street, a road that people use to get out of town. And I'm not sure how it is in the US, but over here, sometimes on those streets, you have like plenty of the stores, like car salesmen are over there, huge shopping malls are over there, because this is like a huge, very wide 2-lane street that people just like used to go out of town. I just have no name for it, but that's the theme of the street.
I mean, I guess it's not more than 2-lane, but I'm picturing like in the US, there's highways that has like the controlled access, like on ramps and off ramps, but you're thinking something else, right?
Yeah, I wasn't thinking highway because highway is usually outside of town, but basically as soon as this road gets out of town, then it turns into a highway.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like I've lived in places where they called it the motor mile, and it's this end of like residential commercial thing before everybody's leaving town kind of deal. So it's cheaper land, and there's a lot of, by motor mile, a lot of used or new car dealerships. I think I know what you're talking about, Pavel.
Yeah.
Okay. So because I have no better name, I'm going to call it the motor road.
Perfect. So I think so that's our first little step. So the next thing we'll do is again, I'll go around and I'll go back in Character Keeper order again. So we will now all go and say where your character lives in relation to this. If you want to add in like another little side street or something else to give a bit more detail on where your character is, feel free. But just go around and draw a little marker for where your character lives, and tell us a little bit about the place they live, whether it's a house or a flat in an apartment building or whatever else. So yeah, where does Buggane live?
Yeah, her and her uncle live in we'll say they live in a house that can, like an older house, one of these nice big old houses that can be converted into apartments. And so they live on a floor in, so yeah, we'll say 1018. Unit B.
Cool. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. And how about you, Knockback? Where do you and your father live?
Yeah. So, by the way, my father's last name is not Perez. I took my mom's last name.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, I was going to say as well. Do you live with your father, or do you live with your?
Yeah. He kind of drove my mom off. I think.
Sure.
He doesn't talk about it. So off of Motor Road, because this just seems garish enough, there is a subdivision that was supposed to be like this really big development because they got cheap land, but it never went anywhere. So there are like these roads that lead to plots that have no houses, and there's one McMansion at the end of a cul-de-sac, and that is where Superia lives.
Nice.
You pay for it with one heist, so it's owned free and clear. And I'm gonna give it some stupidly ostentatious like road name, like something from I think I'll just look around here because there's some really dumb road names around here, but yeah, it's just like this tiny little subdivision that never went anywhere and may never go anywhere kind of deal. Yeah. But the house is a McMansion, and if you guys don't know what McMansion is, it's poorly designed, no unity of purpose. So there'll be like a parapet for like no freaking reason. It's like, if you've ever seen Google McMansions, you'll be awestruck at the stupidity and waste of money. And that's the kind of thing the Superior would be like, yeah, it's good. This is
Some
good.
people would say it's the most American thing ever, but
yeah. Yep.
And I mean, in fairness, there are more than enough actual stately homes in England that have a very similar design aesthetic anyway, where it's just like, whatever Duke decided that, they wanted a new tower built because, or it suddenly became fashionable to have classical columns along the front of your house. So they jammed some on, regardless of whether that was actually in keeping with the rest of the house. So it's I like to think it's a long ongoing tradition of people with more money than taste. It's
yeah, I think you're right. I think you're totally right. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. How about Nightbolt? Where does Nightbolt live?
So I envision that by the Park Avenue, there is actually a tiny little park in one of the parts of this of the street. I'm thinking that maybe it should be closer so that we are going to. How many schools are there per district? Or maybe that's the part of it. Maybe I'm driving with my mom far away to the school.
Yeah, for this area, there probably is just one high school. It's not a huge area. It's certainly not as densely populated as some of the more inner city areas, I think.
So somewhere by the Park Avenue is the actual tiny little park, and on the other side of the park there were a very rundown houses that were on sale. And my dad, whom I named Marcus Dekker, who is a tailor and makes superhero suits, he decided to buy the house over here because there's plenty of space for his workshop to sew the suits. And and I probably drive to the school wherever it is with my mom, Rosie Dekker, who is a science teacher at our school.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
They are both in the NPC tab.
Lovely. Thank you for that. Awesome. Cool. We've got like the bones to our area, and we know where we live. So the next thing we have is we'll go around again and draw in a feature. So these features are basically places or things that are like, I mean, they are defining features. It's but they're things that like tell us something a little bit about the neighborhood. So some of the examples here for potential features are where most folk work. So whether that's like a factory, shops, or whether it's the fact that this is a dormitory. It's mostly a dormitory neighborhood, and people go elsewhere for work. Whether the home or hangout of a notable resident, so whether that's like a celebrity, the district council member or what have you, retired villain or retired hero, or an active hero even. The headquarters or area of a local faction, so whether that's a gang, people trying to gentrify the area, neighborhood watch, that sort of thing. A landmark or defining place, so things like a park, a square, a train station, a bridge, or a historical statue. And then like a public gathering hangout, so if that's like a bar, a coffee shop, a restaurant, that sort of thing. So I'll again go back to the beginning. So Buggane, is there a feature that you would like to add to this map?
Yeah, I'm thinking rail yards. So we'll say this maybe area started because things would come into town, things would get shipped out of town. So let's see. And I'm almost thinking, I guess maybe we'll stick him right here. Wait, what did I do here? Bam.
Awesome. Yeah, that's cool. And
oh, that's cool. Certainly. So, like, is this a rail yards? Like, are you imagining that there's a roundabout? So anyone that lives within a few blocks of that, you're going to hear like, a couple of train cars occasionally late at night, like slam into each other.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Nice. I say that because I grew up in an area that had a Clinchfield Railroad like roundabout about 4 blocks from me, and when kids would come to spend the night and like 1 o'clock in the morning, it'd be just like boom, they freak out and like what the hell was that? And I was so used to it. Like if you've ever been in an area where you just don't hear a certain noise, I didn't hear it. Like they'd have to tell me what it sounded like. It was just a couple at the roundabout, like just slamming into each other. I mean, it's a titanic sound. It's amazing that the human body can just ignore certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Also, awesome. It also possibly explains why the housing development you live in is not flourishing in quite the way the builders intended.
Exactly.
Perfect.
That's good.
So Knockback, if you'd like to add another detail to the map.
God, I want to stick like a famous, like retired super of some kind in our area, maybe near Central Ave. So I may do a little bit of like golden age supers looking to find somebody. Let's see. Oh, there's somebody named Golden Eagle. What is the Golden Eagle? Oh, they're too pretty. Hold on. Snapshot. What is Snapshot? Okay. Photography themed hero of the Golden Age. Clash with Scrapper in the. There we go. Snapshot. It has some kind of teleportation powers and a set of fancy guns. That sounds great. Snapshot lives. Let's stick them on the map, Rich. That's the part that they asked you to do. Okay. Yeah, I think Snapshot. Are we put them on existing streets, new streets? What are you?
You can add a new street if you want. Yeah, that's cool by me.
Okay, something off of Central, I think is what I'll throw in, and they're not. See, what would you say is Snapshot's house, and I think it's going to be something like Rose Lane. Yeah, we'll just call it Rose Lane. And he wouldn't name it after himself, but maybe he pulls some strings to have named after a woman that he was married to for a long time past. God, that's depressing. I live on the street of my dead wife, named after my dead wife. Wow, that's super sad. So I'll stick Snapshot's house in here. Fun.
I was wondering, as he's photography theme, does he maybe have like a gallery as part of the house?
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
And maybe like he features up and coming photography. Like maybe he's still a little bit in that game. That'd be fun. Well, he doesn't just fade away. September 1st, a guy by the name of Vin Scully, who was the radio voice of the Los Angeles Dodgers baseball team for 67 years. He retired 2 years ago. He on September 1st joined Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and just every day posts like a 40-second video. He's 92 years old, and he just posts like a minute-long video where he dresses up in nice clothes and just talks baseball for like a minute. It's bizarre.
That's pretty awesome.
But awesome. Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Like good for him, man. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like it's just like one of those. I don't want to fade away. So maybe snapshots like that. Like, yeah, still got a foot in the photography game. Yeah.
Man, 67 years. That's
67 years.
I think you like your job if you're doing that.
Yeah. Thanks.
Awesome. Sorry. No, that's quite all right. And yeah. Sorry, I'm also doing this as an exercise in trying to remember character names. Nightbolt. Yeah. No worries.
That's slightly too large. That's still too large.
Oh, I like it. That's awesome.
So, I feel like I need to zoom in.
We're doing an amusement park?
Yes.
No, I am going to have to bring a clown magician in. That's.
A clown magician with syringes for fingers. Come on, let's do the full bout to make my wife run away from this game.
So on the crossroad of Park Avenue and Central Avenue, there was like an amusement park that is really quite old, but they have one brand new rail coaster, and that's probably the biggest reason why people even come to this neighborhood that are not from this neighborhood to take a ride on this one new rail coaster. And it has ups and downs. There's a place for, some crime to happen. Every now and then some villain tries to take over the people on the rail coaster and hold them hostage, and stuff happens. So there might be some action on the amusement park. But yeah, that's our amusement park. I'm horrible with names. Anyone got a name for an amusement park? Should we name them somehow?
Yeah,
or
go for it.
Or can we just go with I don't know, Gauntlet Park?
Amusement parks can really have the stupidest names ever.
Yeah,
it could be like Tasha's hideous laughter. Be a little D&D in joke for us if we want. Wow, that's like right on Central Ave with a cop. Oh, that's insane. I love it.
I was thinking, actually, if it's all right, I might move it just to the other side of the road because that kind of backs. So sorry, I didn't actually put that on from the main thing because on the is there just a paintbrush? Don't think there is. Is there? Oh well.
Can you grab it? Can you move it, or do you want me to
Oh
move
yeah,
it?
no, it's okay. I'll do that in a sec. So I was just going to say because so essentially down. I'll have to twist this, I guess, but
the name for the amusement park. Oh my god, I'm running empty. I was thinking for something around the Gauntlet. So that it can be in the mood of the new Gauntlet City. Maybe it was the first park, and that's why it has like the Gauntlet, something with the Gauntlet. Like I don't know.
Maybe they tried to come up with their own little signature character for the amusement park. You know, like this is our Mickey Mouse. And then occasionally we'll see people who are actually like at yard sales, you might see faded T-shirts of that particular made up figure of the amusement park. Is that like Randy's
Randy Rabbit's
Randy Rabbit. Oh,
okay, yeah, salt. Salt.
That's perfect because Randy is also like in America kind of a like can also mean horny. So Randy Rabbit, that really tickles me because the whole myth of rabbits having gigantic litters that tickles me.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I hope I didn't make a mistake in the name. Feel free to correct it if you can. If not, I will correct it. Just let me know.
That's good, I think.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah, I like that a lot. That's good.
Randy Rabbit.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's awesome. No, I love it, and I am going to add in one last feature, which is.
So what is this bit? So the thing you added the beast.
Oh yeah, so this is the. I don't actually know if that park has a name, but it's the if you look back at the city map, it's that big park just to the south of our district. So that sort of borders on the park there. I don't think that one has a name at the minute.
Okay,
but yeah, it's.
Okay.
So yeah, I lost my train of thought. So I am going to add in our the high school. I'm going to quickly check back at because I did come up with a name, and I'm not spending time coming up with a name twice. Yeah, Samuel Klaymann Public High School. And I think that is also going to be off of Central Avenue because it seems the logical place for it to be. Cool. So yeah, we have our district built up. We have a bit of an idea of what's out here. Does anyone have any ideas for what we want to call this neighborhood?
So where did you get the name Samuel Klaymann?
I stole that.
It's really interesting.
It's I stole it from The Adventures of Cavalier and Clay, which is a Michael Chabon novel about two cousins who write comic books.
Oh, neat. Michael Chabon, who did the most recent season of, or did Discovery, Star Trek Discovery, and a bunch of other sci-fi. Is that the same guy? Chabon?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Cool.
I didn't realize
Very
that he'd done Star Trek, actually, but yeah.
Pretty sure he was the guy involved in the most recent Star Trek Discovery stuff. Okay.
Cool.
What do we want to name this thing? We've got the rail yards. I think that's a big part. The amusement park is a thing. I'm looking at the city map. I think we have a. No. Okay.
Yeah, and we could possibly name the park as well if people want to, and tie it into that somehow. But also we don't have to. We can just leave that.
Has the city taken on the name Randy off the amusement park?
I don't think so. I think there's that could be interesting. Like people still call it Randy Rabbits, but now it's just known as Rabbits. That's pretty cute. Let's see other names for it could be Ed's Creek, St. Ed's Creek.
Yeah,
that's
true.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. So we want to call Area 74 St. Ed's Creek. What do you guys prefer?
Maybe just St. Ed's,
Yeah, that could be it could go either way, right? Is the creek named after the area, or is the area named after the creek?
Is Ed's possessive or plural?
I think it'd be possessive.
Okay.
So yeah, it's possibly, its formal name is possibly something like, Saint Edmunds something or other, but it's just referred to as like St. Ed's by like everyone.
Awesome.
Very cool. I'm updating the map in just a few moments.
Awesome.
We'll have
awesome.
Edmonds on it.
So I think that what we will do is we'll go through quickly our when your team first came together questions, and we'll just take our last break, and then we'll come back and just so do a little intro, an intro scene for everyone. I just double checking. I have the sheet open here with the order that we do these in. So yeah, as I said, the idea with this bit is we'll just quickly go through. Each of you has a specific question to answer about about like what happened when your team first came together, but obviously feel free to like confer between each other and ask questions if you want to kind of drill down into the detail a bit more. The bull. It goes. So, in fact, no, not quite. It's not quite in character keeper order. Buggane, when your team first came together. So, as I say, I imagine this being like probably only a couple of weeks ago, sort of over the summer holidays at some point. You defeated a dangerous enemy. Who or what was it?
Okay. We'll say it was. Let me see. Look at the. Whoops. I just want to see what the city looks like real quick.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, how about that there was some sort of nature villain kind of came up from the park. We'll say some sort of earth powered villain. Um, or we'll say it was some sort of weird entity. We're not sure what it was. It was some sort of occurrence. Some like earth monsters came out of the park and were terrorizing things. And so we'll say Nightbolt and Buggane were already kind of, well, I don't want to get out of my question. Wait a second. Yeah, that's what it was. So we'll say it was not Earth Monster. That's kind of lame. Uh, uh, yeah, we'll say there was an Earth Golem that kind of went amok and was attacking the city. And yeah.
Sure thing. Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. Yeah, that's nice because it's kind of a nice concrete thing that, or well, concrete may not be the right word, but nice concrete thing for you to have taken on. But there's still some mystery as to exactly where it came from and what it was doing. Yeah, I like that. So next, for Nightbolt, when you fought this rampaging earth golem, you destroyed your surroundings in the fight. Where was it that the fight took place, and what did you destroy?
So I think some parts of the amusement park around the rabbit got destroyed because Earth Golem, and then the Nova with elemental magic. Earth started moving, and yeah, some of the park attractions got destroyed. So we try to keep it outside of the park, but some parts of the park were destroyed. Like maybe the old roller coaster, definitely. Luckily, there is the new one which we saved. So yeah. So maybe if you want to be specifics, maybe there was like the scary house in the amusement park, and it got like totally wrecked.
Yeah. What was it? What was it that was totally wrecked?
I was thinking if the scary house where people walk in and there are actors dressed as skeletons, monsters trying to freak people out.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure how what was the proper name, so I say scary house, but that's what I mean.
Yeah, no, I got you now. I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Perfect. Thank you very much. So Knockback, when in the process of all this this destruction, you did save the life of someone important, either to the city or to you. You in the collective sense. Who was it, and why are they important?
What about Snapshot? Maybe we saved the life of this old teleportation gun wielding photography nut. That's just yeah. If you guys are cool with it, I think I'd like to say Snapshot.
Sure.
So I'm going to kind of ask a follow-up question on that. Do you think that Snapshot is sort of acting as your patron now? Probably not in a very hands-on way, but in a sort of
I would love for there to be a positive heroic influence for my character, so I would be into that, because right now he's kind of heroing out of spite, and I think that's the wrong place for a heart to be. So I would be into it, but I don't want to speak for the others.
Well, almost sounds like a father figure kind of thing, right?
For Pryor, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, why not? Can be, sure.
Yeah, that sounds good. So yeah, I mean, they said they're obviously they themselves are not. He's not an active superhero anymore. Very much retired. But yeah, he's possibly giving you some pointers and could potentially come to your assistance if probably more in getting you out of trouble than in terms of turning up with six guns blazing. But we'll see. No, that's great. I like that. Awesome. So I think with that we'll take another break till about 22, and then we'll get in with some introductory scenes. Cool. Let's see you all in a moment. So now we're all back. We have our characters. We know where we are in the world, more or less. So I think this is it was your first day. It was your first day back at school. You were all making your way there in the morning. I imagine just looking at the maps, it's probably not it's probably not too bad a walk from for Buggane from her place. So the others of you will probably either come in by bus or by car. When you were making a cut through, and I think there's a sort of back path Buggane from the from the creek road into the sort of to the high school. It probably actually runs is like a little footpath that runs actually along a bit of the creek that is still exposed and open to the air. When there was that moment where there was sort of someone sort of shambling towards you, who in the moment they looked like maybe just a homeless person or someone else wandering along. They're sort of dressed in like ragged clothing and the like, but when they as you sort of approached them, you're sort of going to walk past them on the path, they reared up, and they, beneath these like tattered rags that they were wearing, it's difficult to tell whether it's actually their face or just a mask, but they have just a face that looks to be made entirely out of leaves, and they called out, child, it is time for us to bring you home. You have no place here. You have a purpose to play, and they will have attempted to grab you. What do you do?
Greg, you're still muted.
Man, I feel like a rookie today. So Buggane is freaked out in the sense that, her and Uncle came here running from these dark forces. Are these dark forces or not? Who knows? But, mystical stuff screwing up her life is what they got away of. So yeah, she is immediately going to get defensive and kind of run the other way from it.
Sure thing. So I think that that sounds like I think that you are probably are you sort of at this point, are you kind of drawing on your superhuman sort of strength and speed to get you out of this, do you think?
Yeah. Actually, when I say run away, she's like backing up. I'll say more backing. She's backing up, and she's kind of getting herself into trying to psych herself up, right? Trying to make herself angry. She's actually scared, but she's trying to. So I would say, maybe her eyes are kind of, maybe look a little bit lit up, not lit up as, but just like kind of energized, not with energy, but just like emotion, right?
Yeah, sure
Like,
thing.
she's all right, and she's like, hey, how did you find me here?
We can smell you, taste you, feel you through the earth wherever you go, child. You will never escape us.
Well, I guess I'll just have to take you out. And now she's running at him, and she feels kind of crazy, right? She's just like, God, what am I doing here? You know. And so as she's running at him, we'll say, maybe she gets some more fur. And I'm thinking of her fur's kind of longish. Do you know what I mean? And so she's run at him and maybe just give him a punch.
Sure thing, sure thing. So yeah, if you would like to, I think you're directly engaging a threat here. So if you would like to roll with danger.
Okay, let me think. All right. Let me do this. She gets a 10.
Perfect. So on a 10, you get to you will trade blows with your opponent, but you get to pick 2 from the list, which is to say you can resist or avoid their blows, you can take something from them, you can create an opportunity for your allies, or you can impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition.
Yeah, I would say I surprise them.
Yeah.
So maybe they well, I don't know for sure, but maybe they didn't realize how much power, or that she would fight back. The fact that they ran away, they thought maybe they had her on her heels, and the fact that she comes back at them. Yeah.
Yep. And yet you can pick one other as well, as you got a 10 plus.
Oh yeah, thank you.
No worries.
And then yeah, I would say resist or avoid their blows.
Yeah, sure thing. So I think you you slam your fist, and you can actually feel there is some resistance behind this this mask. There does appear to be, I mean, human, who's to say, but there does certainly seem to be a face behind this. It doesn't, it's odd. It feels like punching leaves as you hit the mask, but then there is some resistance behind it. You probably hear a crack as you slam your fist into their face and drive them back. They are momentarily shocked and taken aback, but you see out of the sort of out of the corner of your eyes, the sort of hedgerows along this path start to extrude longer tendrils and start reaching out towards you. And I think with that, I just want to have a quick check in the Nightbolt, you're I think at this, when this is going down, you're out in the the actual bell for school hasn't rung yet. But you always get driven in a bit early because obviously your mum has to get here get here early to start preparing for lessons and stuff. And today it's just the end of summer. It's still quite a nice day, even if it is still somewhat early in the morning. And you happen to be wandering around the back of the back of the sort of sports field at the back of the school. What do you think you're doing out in the sports field as we see you?
So I assume that we are at least 16. So so Samuel, because his parents kind of forbid him to smoke pot, but he has this like pack of cigarettes that he somehow acquired, and he hides it, and he usually hides it in his big pants, and he's looking for a place where nobody is, so that he can like smoke the cigarette, because that's what the kids do when the parents tell them not to do it. They just want to do it. So he's out there, searching around for the spot where nobody's looking.
Yeah, and as chance has it, you're just like heading down towards the sort of like slightly more overgrown hedgerows down by the back lane, on the edges onto the back of the sports field. When you notice you probably hear some sort of commotion going on, and you notice like I said, you can see as well the like sudden, incredibly rapid growth of like leaves and branches out of these out of the hedges that seem to be sort of growing into the alleyway behind. What do you do?
I probably, run in this. Samuel runs in this direction because that's the direction that Buggane usually comes into school. So maybe they are in trouble. So yeah, I definitely run to this path from the school toward the creek.
Yeah, perfect. And as you get down, you will see that the fact you see this, like I said, that they've drawn up, they're tall and difficult to tell how big they are because of this. Like they've got like long, like tattered clothing, like several like overcoats layered over them, and you probably haven't yet seen the mask, the masked face. But yeah, they are clearly just staggering backwards from a blow. You can see Buggane has already started to grow that hair from their body. So yeah, what's your next step?
Well, it clearly looks to me that Buggane has at least this guy probably in her clutches. So, but this sudden grow of tendrils and leaves kind of looks weird to me. So I probably look around that nobody's looking, that it's me who's gonna turn, and then like immediately just like that I'm like on fire. I'm like this like flaming man, and I shout down, well, how do you like to smoke some fire? And I like I extend my hand, and we see that a wall of fire surrounds the Buggane and the other person, so that the tendrils or leaves cannot and untangle Buggane, because she seemed to have this guy ready to punch.
Sure thing. So yeah, would you like to roll me your burn, and we'll see how much you have to spend. But yeah, you'll get enough to set up that barrier regardless. So.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I'm using. If I want to use mode over here. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was going to say. So yes, this can either be. We can either go for. We can either just go for unleashing your powers, or if you feel like you want to use your burn, we can do that. It depends on which one you feel like is more appropriate here. Because I figure you could do it either of two ways.
Yeah, I was thinking defend or unleash your powers.
Yeah, actually, yeah, no, that's fine. No, a defend would make sense as well if you want to go for that.
Yeah.
So So when you roll to defend someone, roll with Savior.
Are we using the dice roller from the
move
tab or something else?
Yes, there is in the move tab. There's a roll with dice with friends link. If you want to use that, I will copy that into the chat. Or if you want to use dice, like physical dice or whatever else, that's cool as well.
Oh no, that's not good. It's a 6 on the dice, and my savior isn't that good, so that's a 6.
Yeah. The one thing I should have done is you do have one team in the pool at the start of the session. Buggane, if you wish to aid Nightbolt in this, you may do so, but you don't feel that you have to. Oh, sorry, you're muted.
Bam. Okay. Team is you get people. What's the benefit for team? I know that gets added and all that, but
if you spend a point of team, you can give them +1 to a roll. That would be enough to bump them up into a mixed success if you wish.
Okay. Yeah. I see Nightbolt kind of come in, and I was like, what the heck? And then I'll spend a point a team to help him out.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. So yeah, in that case, on a 7 to 9 on a defend, when you on a hit, you keep them safe and choose one of the following options. You can add a team to the pool. You can take influence over someone you protect. Oh, that is one thing we didn't do yet, and probably should have done, because I missed that out when we did our relationships. I won't go over that in detail now, but
we're gonna hang out influence at the beginning of the next session if you want.
Yeah, I was going to say I'll leave that even probably actually till the end of this session. But it's possible you didn't need to spend that team, because there's a good chance you might have some influence over each other already, which
that's true.
That role, because you always because you target somebody with a defense, or if you have influence over them, you get +1 to it. But anyway, that's fine for now. But the other thing is you can clear a condition.
I'll keep this one in the pool so that we can help each other out. So the wall of fire manifests. Hopefully it will not burn anything else. We'll see. And I keep them safe. Awesome.
But on a 7 to 9, it does cost you. However, you either expose yourself to danger or escalate the situation.
I assume that I'm somehow behind them, so I think escalating, because I'm summoning wall of fire. So
exactly, yeah.
I just feel like this is the proper way.
Exactly, this has made things obvious now. You are literally lighting a beacon here. And speaking of that, Knockback. How do you think you normally make your way to school?
Oh, my dad made me take a car. Like, I didn't really want it, but I used it to deliver pizza, so I drive.
Yeah, sure thing. And I think as you're driving to school, you will notice this sudden big burst of flame leaping up just off to the road as you're coming down.
Nightbolt's burning something down again. Oh, no. Yeah, I'll quickly pull over, park, and reach back into my duffel bag where I have my baseball stuff. It's also where I keep my costume, and I'll quickly change. So that'll be my scene. It's quickly changing into Knockback.
Yeah, brilliant. So I'll come back to you, Buggane. You are facing off against this figure. We will, in fact, call them the Green Man, for that is who it is. I think there's now this big wall of flame has sprung up around you, but I think this definitely you'd already surprised them, and the sudden appearance of this wall of fire has done nothing to lessen that shock. So I think that you have a sort of momentary opening while they're kind of trying re-evaluating the situation, as they realise they can't entangle you in the hedgerow as they had intended.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
What I'm going to do is, so I realize, Nightbolt's there with his fire, and, and instinctively she takes that as oh, he didn't think I could defend myself, kind of thing. It's like, girl, come on now, but she's like, and so she grabs the she punched him. She grabs the night guy, the Green Man, and just starts squeezing him, getting stronger and stronger. And she's like, call off the hedgerows, call everything off.
Yeah, and
Like,
that's
I'll do it. I'll do it.
awesome. And that sounds like a provoke to me.
All right.
And you have, don't you? Sorry, I'm just familiarizing myself with the moves. Everyone, you have yes, you can
Oh, I do.
absolutely use your danger instead of superior for this.
Yeah. All right. I like it. Okay, so it's a +2, 7, 9.
9, perfect. So on a provoke, on a 7 to 9, on a 7 to 9, lost it. Yeah, here we go. So if they can rise the boat and do what you want, or they can instead choose to stumble
choose
or
one, right?
overreact. Yeah, I think that what they're going to do is they're going to stumble essentially. They do. I think they break out of your grasp, but they don't do so gracefully. You've clearly hurt them, and again you've definitely got that feeling. They've got that very like they've got that almost like scarecrow looking, like big baggy shaggy clothing all over them, but there is definitely a person in there, or something in there, but definitely something with a physical being. Exactly, yeah. And as they kind of wrench themselves out of your grasp, they go tumbling across the floor, and narrowly avoid the flames surrounding them. They sort of bring up their arms in a sort of defensive posture and start to do something. Like they're clearly like weaving their fingers around and chanting in a language that you don't understand, but this is they're clearly on the back foot, and you will take a +1 forward against them. Nightbolt, how do you react to this?
I think I want to say that Nightbolt is now focused on maintaining this wall of fire. So maybe let's give Knockback a time to get in here.
Yeah, sure thing. So yeah, Knockback. How does it look when you come onto the scene?
I think Knockback has impossible mobility, which I haven't actually defined, but I need to think about that. Like, what would be cool in mixing against the mobility of someone who, like, Dekker can fly or not? Can Dekker fly? I know you can flame up and you have elemental control. Do you control the wind and fly?
I want to say that when I control the wind, it's hard to say. Like, it doesn't state on my abilities that I can fly, but if I turn into wind, I assume I can. And I have one of my flares allows me to like move whenever I want, so I probably can fly. Yes.
Okay, cool. Then I think Pryor Perez as Knockback is kind of a parkour specialist. That's a bit of his impossible mobility. So if we're near, you said we were near a stadium or sports, maybe it's the baseball field.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
bounds up and then ends up on top of the backstop, right? The fence backstop, and he'll call out, "Hey, leaf blower, hands off the troll."
Cool. And I think again that sounds like a provoke to me. If you would like to roll with Superia,
that sounds great. And that is not what my mask identifies with, so I'll just be rolling with Superior, which is flat. Here we go, just 2d6, and that's a 6. Yay! I mark potential.
Excellent. So I think. I think we see that moment where just as you shout that out, the green man finishes casting that spell that they were working, and we see that moment where they were obviously focusing on Buggane, but when you call out to them, they turn round and clock you up there, looking down at them, and they flick their hand towards you, and like a shower of thorns, just like fires out of their hand towards you, like a shotgun blast. And I think you will be taking a powerful blow there, unless someone wishes to jump in and defend. But otherwise,
happy to take it. Sounds fun. I have no conditions marked, so it's just a flat roll. Oh, dang it. Okay. Sorry, I'm not used to roll dice with friends.
No.
I've rolled a 3 and a 2, so that's a 5. I mark another potential, but I stand strong, right?
Yeah. So how does that look when you take this blast of thorns to the with or not, as the case may be?
Yeah, I think it's just a case of we see his like a cut to one panel of him grabbing onto the fence that is the backstop, because it's just like a chain link fence kind of backstop type deal, and he springs back and everything comes through and it like tears into the backstop, and he realizes in the thought bubble of like, oh man. And he dances out of the way and laughs a little bit as he runs around the backstop. But yeah, he's also realizing this guy is way more powerful than I originally thought. This could go bad.
Awesome. Thank you. So yeah, I'll pop back at you. I'll pop back to Nightbolt. Do you wish to step in at this point, or are you happy that Buggane has things under control?
Yeah, so Nightbolt was clearly trying to maintain this fire so that it doesn't burn anything. He sees he cherries that, hey, Knockback is here, and then Knockback got like this torn blasted. So Nightbolt shouts, sounds like you need to heat up a little bit, and he's going to turn into this wind persona, which is like a very hard to identify person surrounded by a constant gust of wind around him, and he is going to throw a very powerful gust of wind to throw the green man into this burning wall of fire.
Perfect. Yeah, that sounds like a directly engaged to me. If you would like to.
Yes, of course. Danger. So that will be a +1. Wait, I opened the move, not necessarily roll. It's a 10 + 1, 11.
11, nice. So when you directly engage a threat, on a hit you trade blows. On a 10+, you pick 2 from the following list. So yeah, again, that's resist or avoid their blows, take something from them, create an opportunity for your allies, or impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition.
I think I'm creating opportunity for my allies because they are now thrown with a quite powerful blow through the burning wall of fire. So I will create an opportunity to tag team them with Buggane. And what makes sense here? They don't appear to have anything, so taking anything from them doesn't seem like. Oh, you know what? Why not? I'm going to take something from them, and that is their momental mobility, because as they probably fly through the wall of fire, they land on the ground, and we see that their hands got partially swallowed into the ground. And now we see that Nightbolt is like a man of rock, because he now channeled the earth. So this guy is now lying on the ground. He just went through the wall of fire, and his hands and legs are just like partially swallowed into the ground. and I look at Buggane and say, "He's all yours."
Yeah, awesome. And I think as you as he as you know his hands are enveloped in the earth, he lets out a chuckle and says, "Fool, this I draw my strength from the earth, and like long, thick roots are going to surge up from under the earth and slap and try and sort of slap at your rocky hide. So again, I would like you to roll to take a powerful blow there, please.
That's a 6 for me.
Nice. So again, you weather the blow. So how does that look as this sort of like as these roots crash into you?
So I'm currently made of rock, and these roots just like bounce off, and I just like stand there watching this root trying to wail at me, and I just say, "Well, it looks that I'm more in control of the earth than you are," and just like badass standing over there.
Brilliant. You also mark a potential for that if you've not already. So Buggane, the green man seems to be partially trapped in the earth now. What are you going to do?
Yeah, so Buggane is kind of freaked out because she saw Nightbolt get blown back and knockback, and so she's kind of going to fully unleash her powers. What I'm thinking of is she gets these exceedingly long claws, like she has this mythological look of like, how could these claws even be useful? They're like extremely long, and she gets these huge teeth that like maybe even warp her jaw so much. Do you know what I mean? They're just gigantic. And so she comes out and she basically is thinking that this is some magical creature, and this thing isn't going to listen to reason, and just starts like shredding it.
Sure thing. So if you'd like to roll to directly engage.
Okay, that's plus danger?
That is correct. Yep.
All right, and I get a +1 with it.
You do, so, because yep.
That's an 11.
Perfect. So once again, you are you get to. If actually, I'm not even going to make you pick off of the list.
Okay.
Because with this final assault, and now this is where it does get a bit weirder. You shred these claws into it, and as they start to cut through the fabric of the rags that they are wearing, they disintegrate into a pile of leaves that sort of go straight from like green, and then they crinkle up into crisp golden autumn leaves. The mask also does the same thing. It just crinkles up. The leaves die and shrivel, and then, like I said, though you were sure there was like a physical presence in there before, there is now just a layer of leaves littered across the pathway.
Hey, Nightbolt, I had this. Okay, I had this. This is my thing. Okay, man. I don't want you getting injured. And hey, can we not burn down the city while we're at it?
Yeah, so Nightbolt was probably like standing next to you with like a high five. Yeah, man, high five. And now you're like trash talking him and like yeah, sure, yeah, yes, of course, and and he will turn into like a water person and try to like, because this is a creek, so is it like an active creek? Is there some water here?
Oh yeah, there is water flowing through it. It's probably like it's not deep or wide, but it's quite fast flowing.
Yeah, so he will like raid this water and just like try to like douse all of the flames. Probably like someone's backyard might be slightly on fire. The pathway, and he will try to like douse the fire with the creek's water.
And now Buggane feels a little bad. She's just like, but yeah, that was awesome. That was cool. Where you trapped him and then I friggin' shredded him. That was cool.
Oh yeah, so can we like high five? It was like a good fight.
Yeah, sure.
Ooh, they're celebrating after a victory.
They are indeed celebrating after a victory. If the high five isn't returned, it doesn't count. But okay. Now it has been, so the circle is complete. So yeah, you should both have on your somewhere on the keeper what happens when it's under team moves. I think it's the first one when you share a
row 43
celebration. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Buggane, because you're first from left to right, if you'd like to say what happens when you share a triumphant celebration.
If they're already your lover. Okay, what I'm going to say is I'm going to make Nightbolt my love, but we're going to go more towards the fact that she's kind of opening up to Nightbolt, right? She's a very guarded person. And so she might not even know that she loves him, right? It's...
Sure, of course.
Yeah.
So, mark potential.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. And Nightbolt, what's your...
I just did something to your... There we go. Sorry.
No worries.
Anyway.
And yeah, Nightbolt, what is your triumphant celebration?
So when you share a moment of triumphant celebration with someone, ask them if there is any fear in their eyes when they look at you. So yeah, after we high five, I probably turn back. I probably stay in the like a water form, and I like say, but are we all good with me slightly burning the neighborhood? So that's my way of asking: is there fear in your eyes when you look at me?
I would say let's see. Yeah, maybe part of the love is she's impressed with the power, right? Like she can trust him because he's powerful. So I don't know if there's necessarily fear though. Is that okay?
Yeah, that sounds like a no to me. That sounds more like a no than a yes.
Yes, because we need to interpret it as a kind of yes or kind of no, because then there are different outcomes. So do you say it's kind of more no or kind of more
I would
or
say
kind
it's
of
a
more
no,
yes?
no right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take +1 forward and mark potential.
Cool. So yeah, if you want to make a note about that +1 forward, because I don't think we'll be doing any more rolling this session, but you can keep that for next time. Awesome. Yeah, and yeah, I'd just like to get a last little, because I think this is probably as well where we will end things for today. But I would just like to get a last little shot of Knockback, if that's okay.
Yeah, I think Knockback sees the connection between Nightbolt and Buggane and their happiness, and he wants to share in it, but also he just kind of showed up, got shot at, and so yeah, I think he just lets the two of them have their conversation. Just slink back and maybe make his way back towards his car and change back to his normal everyday guise.
Sure thing. That's nice.
So I assume after we talk, we just like turn, hey, Knockback, and like, and he's gone, and we just like, where did he go?
Who was that mysterious man?
So sad.
Perfect.
I'm thinking Buggane has a lot of clothes from Goodwill because their clothes often gets trashed. And so she always has a pair supply with her.
That's
Yeah.
cool. That's smart.
Nice. I like it. Brilliant. So thank you very much, everyone. And as I said, that's I think where we will leave things for today. What I will do now is I don't think I will do the normal end of session moves today, but I will go back and do the bit I should have done earlier, which is to set up your your influence with each other. So I'm going to just quickly flick back to the character. I can't remember if this is on the keeper. I don't think it is. No. So on the character sheet. So I'll do this probably in order of when I come to them. So for the bull. So for Buggane, you're selective about who you let in. You give your love and your rival influence over you, but that's it. I will let you choose whether you want to give influence to because technically this would have happened before you made Nightbolt your love, but I will leave it to your discretion as to who.
We'll do both. We'll do both.
Cool. And then next, okay, so it is in character keeper order anyway. So Knockback.
Wait, do I have influence over them as well, or no? Just they have it over me.
They have it over you. So with the I think with nearly all of these, it's about who you give influence to.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we'll see. Obviously, again, this one is for Knockback. You look up to your teammates. They seem to have this superhero thing. That's right. They seem to have this superhero thing figured out. Give 2 of them influence over you. Yep.
I'll just give it to the 2 of these, and I mean, you can give. Right, my understanding is you can give influence later, so maybe I'll give influence to one of the new folks that joined.
Yeah, sure thing. You can always choose to give someone else influence over you just by letting it happen. That's perfectly fine. Getting influence over other people requires a little more effort, but yeah, you can always give out influences as much as you like, so that's fine. Yeah, and Nightbolt. Choose your demeanor, happy facade or locked down. If you choose happy facade, give influence to 3 teammates. If you choose locked down, give influence to 1 teammate. I think I know which one this is going to be, but
let's go with happy facade, so that I give influence to both Buggane and Knockback. But question: do you want to make Rich? Do you want to make a distinguish between Knockback and Perez? So that I think
that sounds fun. I like that.
Cool. So
a dichotomy, yes.
Yeah. So I would give definitely influence to Knockback, but Pryor, man, this guy is so boring. So no.
Yeah, that is.
It will be so interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Like brilliant. So thank you very much, everyone. It's been a fun session. I'm going to stop our recording there. If I can.